Sarah, no last name, just the girl who has memorized every single heartbeat this house has ever taken in the golden hour between day and night. The exact way the porch light hums when it's been on for 43 minutes, the soft sigh the third step gives when the temperature drops 1 degree, the precise shade of peach. The living room lamp turns at 7:27 p.m. on a quiet spring evening, the way the air always smells faintly of cedar and coffee and the ghost of every, almost, they've ever lived through. The exact creak the welcome mat makes when you step on the left corner, the way the hallway floorboard right inside the door always gives one tiny pop like it's saying, finally, stands frozen on Mark's front porch at 7:27 p.m. on the first full evening of being 18. Barefoot in soft gray avocado print socks that suddenly feel both childish and sacred all at once, drowning in the oversized cream hoodie he handed her last December when she forgot hers on purpose, the one she has slept in exactly 198 nights in a row, the one she washed at 2:47 a.m. with shaking hands and half his detergent so it would still smell like him when she finally did this. Hair still messy from the nervous 3-block walk, cheeks flushed from cold air and hotter nerves, heart beating so violently she's convinced the motion sensor porch light is pulsing in Morse code. Finally, the door's open, not wide, just 8 careful inches now, enough for a warm ribbon of lamplight to spill across the welcome mat like an invitation she's terrified has an expiration date she just passed. She can hear the faint clink of dishes inside, the low hum of the old kitchen radio playing something soft and slow and perfect, the familiar creak of the floorboards as he moves around the kitchen. Barefoot, always barefoot when he's home, the soft thud of his steps the soundtrack of every safe memory she owns. She can smell cinnamon rolls baking. He only makes them when he's happy or nervous or both. She could have walked right in. She always used to walk right in. She remembers the first time he told her the door was always open. She was 12, soaked from a sudden downpour, crying over a ruined science fair volcano. And he'd opened the door wide, taken one look at her tear-streaked face, and said, "Sarah, this door's always open for you. Don't ever knock." She remembers the night she was 14, and her parents were fighting so loudly the walls shook. She ran here in pajamas, and he met her on this exact porch with a blanket and hot chocolate, and never once asked why she was crying. Just let her sit on his couch until the storm, outside and inside, passed. She remembers the summer she was 15 and learned how to drive in his driveway, stalling his truck 6 times while he sat in the passenger seat laughing and saying, "You've got this, kiddo," every single time. She remembers the night she was 16 and fell asleep on his couch during a thunderstorm, waking up at 3 a.m. with his blanket tucked around her and him asleep in the armchair across the room because he didn't want to leave her alone. She remembers every single time she let herself in without knocking, every time the door was open, every time this house felt more like home than her own. Tonight she hesitated. Tonight she stood on the porch for exactly 94 seconds. She counted every single one. Hand raised, knuckles hovering, breath fogging in the air, the key in her pocket feeling heavier than it ever has, the word always echoing in her head like a dare. Then she knocked, 3 soft, uncertain knocks that sounded louder than thunder in the quiet. Footsteps. The door swings wider. Mark appears in the doorway, dish towel slung over one shoulder, sleeves of his black t-shirt pushed up, hair a streak of flour on one forearm like he's been wrist-deep in cinnamon roll dough, hair a little messy like he's been running his hands through it while the rolls rise, green-gray eyes going wide, then impossibly soft, then dangerously, beautifully warm in the lamplight. "Sarah." His voice is gentle, low, laced with that rasp and wonder and the faintest trace of flour on his cheek. He leans one shoulder against the doorframe, dish towel still in hand, studying her like she's a sunrise he's terrified to scare off. "Why'd you knock? If the door was already open." She swallows everything she's rehearsed 1,000 times in mirrors, in showers, in the dark when sleep wouldn't come, every version that sounded too big or too small or too everything. "I just turned 18, she says, voice soft but steady. The words finally free after 731 days, 19 hours, and 59 minutes in captivity. And I stood here for 94 whole seconds trying to decide if the rules changed at midnight. I didn't know if I was still supposed to walk in like before, or if I needed to knock now that I'm not a kid anymore. I didn't want to assume the door was still open the same way. I needed to know if always still applied when I'm finally allowed to want things. Mark's fingers tighten on the dish towel for one heartbeat, then relax completely. You've always been welcome here, he murmurs, voice scraped raw with every evening he's left the door unlocked just in case. You never needed permission. Not at 12 when you showed up crying over a volcano. Not at 14 when your parents' fight sent you running here in pajamas. Not at 16 when you fell asleep on my couch and I sat in the armchair all night because I didn't trust myself to leave the room. The door's been open for you every single day. I just didn't know if you were ready to walk through it without knocking. She steps closer, avocado socks brushing the welcome mat that still has the faint stain from when she spilled grape juice at 13, and he cleaned it up without a word. I know, she whispers. But it felt different tonight. Like if I walked in without knocking, I'd still be pretending I'm the same girl who used to burst in here with muddy shoes and loud stories and scraped knees. And I'm not. Not anymore. I needed to knock so you'd know I'm here on purpose this time. Not as the kid next door, as me, 18, wanting to be seen. He studies her for one long, humming second. Really studies her. Eyes moving over, the way she's curled into his hoodie like it's armor. The way her avocado socks are pulled up over chilled ankles. The faint goosebumps on her legs. The way her pulse is visible in her throat, like a second heartbeat trying to reach him first. Then he opens the door the rest of the way, slow, deliberate, reverent, and steps aside. Then come in, he says softly, voice low and steady, and scraped raw with everything he's never been allowed to say. And tell me what changed. She crosses the threshold, slow, deliberate, like the floor might tilt if she moves too fast. The door closes behind her with a soft, final click that sounds like the starting line of the rest of their lives. The house smells like cedar and pine soap and warm cotton and cinnamon rolls rising in the oven, the kind he only makes when he's happy or nervous or both. The lamp in the living room is on, spilling warm gold across the couch that still has the indent of where she falls asleep every time she's here. The radio is playing something old and slow and perfect. She turns to him in the hallway, close enough now that the lamplight paints them both in the same glow. I love you, she says, clear and steady and 2 entire years overdue. I've loved you every single day I wasn't allowed to say it, and I'm 18 now, Mark. And I knocked tonight because I needed you to open the door the rest of the way and see me standing here wanting to stay. Mark closes his eyes for one long, trembling heartbeat, like he's letting the words sink into every place he's kept locked since the day she turned 16. Then he opens them again, shining, unashamed, and cups her face with both hands, gentle, reverent, shaking just enough to make her heart crack wide open. I love you too, he whispers, voice breaking on every syllable like relief and joy and terror all at once. And the door was never closed, not once, not ever. Come in, stay. The kiss is soft, slow, lamplight lit, cinnamon scented, and perfect, like the first honest breath either of them has taken in 730 days. Sarah winks at the camera, phone propped on the entry table where it's been recording since 7:26 p.m., red light glowing steady, hoodie sleeve slipped completely off one shoulder, warm gold light spilling across both of them, his hands cradling her face like she's the only thing he ever wants to hold. The door now wide open behind them like the universe just took a bow, scent of cinnamon rolls drifting in like applause. Radio still playing that old slow song like it knew all along. And that's the full, longer, uncut, heart-exploding 2-year wait, half-open door, sunset living room, avocado socks, spare key she never needed, 7:27 p.m., golden glow, 94 seconds on the porch, cinnamon rolls in the oven, dish towel over the shoulder, every flashback memory story of the evening I turned 18 and finally knocked on a door that was already open. Some doors you don't walk through until someone gentle enough meets you on the other side and opens them the rest of the way. Like subscribe, ring the bell, comment the last time you knocked on a door that was already open for you. Just turned 18, just knocked. And he finally opened it all the way and asked me to stay forever.